What if the Earth was hiding places that shouldn't exist? A lake that floats above the ocean. A cave big enough to hold a city. Fire that burns blue in the dark. These aren't stories. They're real places, hidden in plain sight. Tonight we're taking you to 10 impossible places on Earth, where reality feels broken and nature makes its own rules. At first glance, it doesn't even look real. A massive slab of rock, balanced high above the mountains, with nothing beneath it but air. This is Mount Kawah, one of the steepest mountains on Earth. To reach the top, there is no gentle trail, no safety net, just narrow wooden planks bolted into vertical granite cliffs, boards worn smooth by thousands of footsteps, hanging above a drop so deep, your body feels it before your eyes do. Here climbers move sideways, gripping cold iron chains, waiting for strangers to pass in silence. One wrong step, and there is no second chance. These paths were carved more than 1,000 years ago by monks and pilgrims who believed reaching the summit was worth risking everything. Even today, people still come here, not to conquer the mountain, but to test themselves against it. On Mount Kawah, courage isn't optional. It's the price of entry. From this angle, your eyes tell you something impossible. A lake floating above the ocean. No cliffs beneath it, no land holding it up, just water suspended in midair. This is Lake Sørvágsvatn. In reality, the lake sits barely 100 feet above sea level, but the land tilts so perfectly and the cliffs drop so suddenly that distance collapses and your brain gets it wrong. Step closer to the edge and the illusion becomes stronger. The Atlantic crashes far below. The lake stays calm above, as if two worlds are stacked where only one should exist. Nothing here is fake. No tricks, no editing, just nature bending perspective enough to remind you, reality depends on where you stand. Then the world opens, downward. Beneath the jungle of central Vietnam, hidden behind limestone and time, lies something so vast, it rewrites the word cave. This is Doong, the largest cave on Earth. Inside, the ceiling collapses and sunlight pours in. Trees grow where darkness should exist. Clouds form and drift through an underground sky. Rivers carve their own paths. Wind moves freely. This isn't a cave anymore. It's a world sealed away for millions of years. The chambers are so massive they could swallow a city block, a 40-story building without leaving a trace. Step inside and scale disappears. You're no longer exploring the Earth. You're standing inside it. When night falls, this mountain ignites. Not with lava, but with fire, the color of electricity. This is Kawah Ijen, the only place on Earth where flames burn blue. The fire comes from sulfur gas, escaping the crater at extreme pressure, igniting the moment it meets air. Beautiful, unreal, and lethal. The lake below is one of the most acidic on the planet, strong enough to dissolve metal. The air burns your lungs, your eyes sting. Every breath feels borrowed. And yet, people work here. Sulfur miners descend into the crater every day, carrying blocks weighing more than 100 pounds through toxic smoke, with nothing but cloth masks between them and the gas. No machines, no shortcuts, just human endurance against a mountain that never rests. Kawah Ijen isn't just dangerous. It's a reminder that beauty and death can exist in the same breath. Then, suddenly, everything goes silent. Deep beneath the desert of northern Mexico, hidden behind rock and heat, lies a place that feels less like Earth and more like science fiction. This is Cueva de los Cristales, a chamber filled with giant crystals, some longer than a school bus, weighing tens of tons, growing undisturbed for hundreds of thousands of years. The air is suffocating, the heat overwhelming. Humans can only survive here for minutes at a time. And yet, for most of its existence, this place belonged to no one. The crystals grew in perfect silence, molecule by molecule, in mineral-rich water heated by magma below. Step inside, and scale disappears again. A person becomes smaller than a thought. In this chamber, time doesn't move forward, it accumulates. And then, color explodes. This landscape doesn't feel like Earth at all. Pools of acid bubble and boil. Yellow, orange, toxic green. This is Dalol, one of the hottest and most hostile places on the planet. The ground here is alive, not with life, but with chemistry. Sulfur vents hiss, salt crystals grow and collapse. Acid lakes reach temperatures where almost nothing can survive. In some areas, life disappears completely. No plants, no animals, just heat, minerals, and reactions that never stop. Scientists study Dalol to understand how life might exist on Mars, or why it might not exist at all. Stand here long enough, and you feel it. This isn't a place meant for humans. It's a reminder of what the Earth looked like before it learned how to breathe. After the heat, after the noise, everything becomes quiet. This is White Pocket, a place shaped not by violence, but by patience. Here, stone twists and folds like frozen waves, red and white swirling together, as if the ground itself were painted by hand. These patterns formed nearly 200 million years ago, when sand and mud were pressed deep underground, then slowly lifted back into the light. Under ultraviolet light, parts of the rock faintly glow, the result of ancient minerals still reacting after all this time. But this beauty is fragile. A single footprint, one careless step, and a surface that survived millions of years can be damaged forever. There are no signs here, no fences, just silence, and the responsibility of standing somewhere the Earth never meant to protect. Then the stone gives way to water, and the world begins to float. This is Melissani Cave. When its roof collapsed thousands of years ago, sunlight found a path underground. Now light pours in from above, striking the water at just the right angle, turning the lake into a mirror of blue. Boats drift silently across the surface. And for a moment, it feels like they're not floating on the water, but inside the light itself. The lake is connected to the sea, where fresh water and salt water meet beneath the limestone, a hidden circulation that still isn't fully understood. Look down, and the bottom seems close enough to touch. Look up, and the cave disappears into brightness. In Melissani, gravity loosens its grip, and the boundary between air, water, and stone quietly fades away. When the water disappears, the silence remains. More than 200 stone pillars rise from the earth, tall, thin, each crowned with a heavy rock balanced like a head. From a distance, they don't look geological. They look human. This is Devil's Town. Locals say these were once people, turned to stone as punishments, frozen mid-step, forever facing the mountains. Science offers a colder explanation. Erosion, rain, and fragile soil slowly carving away everything else. But standing here at sunset, when shadows stretch across the valley, the legends feel close enough to touch. The pillars don't move, they don't speak. Yet somehow, they feel like witnesses, watching time pass, one collapse at a time. In Devil's Town, nature doesn't need monsters. It only needs patience. And finally, everything freezes. This is Abraham Lake. At first, it looks peaceful, a sheet of crystal clear ice stretching across the Canadian Rockies. But beneath the surface, something unsettling appears. Thousands of white bubbles, stacked like frozen ghosts, trapped inside the ice. This is methane, gas released by microbes at the bottom of the lake, rising slowly, then locked in place when winter seals the surface shut. The result is breathtaking and dangerous. Methane is highly flammable. When the ice melts, those bubbles escape, releasing a powerful greenhouse gas back into the atmosphere. What you're seeing isn't just beauty, it's a record, a warning, a reminder that even the most surreal places on Earth are still connected to the choices we make. Standing here, surrounded by silence and ice, you realize the planet isn't broken, it's reacting.